Hello and welcome back. Here, before we dig into this guitar, I want to pay a little tribute, as I always do, and talk about Jeffrey's guitar site here. All things Strat Plus, all things Deluxe Strat Plus. There's just a wealth of information he has. It's a real compendium of information about the Strat. I challenge you to go to his site and not learn something. It's really amazing what he's put together and shared. And he's also a very nice fellow that's answered a lot of my questions in the past. And I noticed, too, that he has an update to his page. So I want to pause here to give you a moment to read this tribute to his dad, which I thought was really interesting. And I'll just stop talking for a minute so you can read this for a second. It's a real nice tribute. Sounds like a real interesting fellow he was. And by the looks of this picture, Jeffrey, your dad was a real badass. I gotta tell you that. That picture impresses me. And I wonder if you have any of his music that you have shared. I'd love to hear some of that. If you have that, or if you haven't, maybe you could post it. I'm sure people would be interested in hearing what your dad really laid down here, because that just looks interesting as hell to me. So props to that, man. To your father. So here we have this 1995 Deluxe Strat Plus with the rosewood fingerboard. Now this has had a different pickguard installed. This has had a few modifications, which I'll talk about. The good news is I have all the original parts, and I restrung it just as is because I'm a fan of a humbucker, and this is actually a Lawler Imperial in the humbucking spot here. And it sounds great. It's wired up to be working with the TBX control as well, so I think it sounds good. I'll probably leave it. There's a white pickguard, stock pickguard that came with this guitar. I'm not sure about the tortoiseshell. I think it looks pretty good. Tell me what you think. Should I put the white one back on, or does the black tortoise, or the brown tortoiseshell rather, look good with the black pearl dust body? I really love the pearl dust finishes that the Strat Plus has had. I had a blue pearl dust that I gave to my dear friend Shane some time ago. And if you're watching this video, Shane, you're probably wondering why I went and got another Strat Plus. We talked about one of his that he was considering selling, but he paid a pretty fair price for it. But this one came in at a price so low, in my opinion anyway, that I kind of had to grab it. Plus, it was that black pearl dust that I just love. So tell me what you think about that black pearl dust. And sorry about the the dust on the body there. I guess that's case dust. I really have to get in the habit of taking a blower of some kind and getting these things cleaned up, because I really notice it when I'm doing the videos and looking at the close-ups of these pictures. You'll also notice, too, that the bridges, the bridge saddles, rather, are not the typical Strat Plus block style. And apparently the previous owner replaced them with these. They're GS brand. I'm not familiar with them, and they seem fine. I did some minor adjustments to just to the radius. They were kind of form angled, I guess you'll say. But the block saddles are in the case, as well as some other original parts, which is great because a lot of times those things get separated. And here you see a beautiful shot of the rosewood neck that is just really outstanding on this guitar. It was very dry when I got it, so I applied some F1 fretboard conditioner oil to it, and it really soaked it up like a sponge, and it's much darker and more attractive looking because it was really quite dried out. And here you see a beautiful shot of the headstock, made in the USA, Fender, and the tuners that are the Schaller brand, not Schaller, I guess. I did a Google lookup on the pronunciation, and the German is Schaller or something like that. So I'll try to be mindful of that. I like the wood grain at the end of the headstock. And here is the other side of the headstock. This thing plays really nicely. It sounds great with that Lawler as well as two golds. This 95 had all gold lace sensors in the pickups. And I do also have the original bridge lace sensor in the case too. So this thing can be restored back to its all original glory, which is, again, a nice thing to have. I just really love the way the perimeter with these pearl dust finishes turns out. It's just, to me, it's very attractive. It's kind of a little sparkle, gives a little flair, but yet it's tasteful. So, you know, it's a really great looking guitar. The blue pearl dust looks great too. It's a really, really nice. Honestly, all the pearl dusts look good. I had a crimson burst, and I did love that color. I also had a straight black early Strat Plus, and I got rid of those guitars. And I did have the rare, what was it called? Ebony Frost. And for whatever reason, I ended up selling all those guitars. So I missed my Strat Plus since I got the Crimson Burst sold. And so I decided to grab one more. And this one was sitting out on Reverb for like 2 years. And I don't know why. The price was pretty fair. It is worn. Now you see some wear marks. We are the home of wayward guitars here. But yeah, you can see some buckle wear. And there are quite a few little scratches and things. Nothing major, nothing egregious, but it's just, it's been played. And there are also some divots in some of the frets down towards the first, second, third fret. Here you see a lovely shot of the back of the neck. And I like the wood grain on this neck. It feels really good. It doesn't have any huge dings or anything. I had a guy ask me about dings in the neck. I know that bothers a lot of people. I really don't. I'm not bothered by if my thumb feels a little divot or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I just don't care. But are you a person that gets bothered by that kind of thing? Leave a comment. Let me know the rationale behind that. And this also has the 50th anniversary emblem decal, whatever it is. And you can see that the headstock does have a little finish chip out of it. But I like those things that kind of set these things apart and differentiate them from other guitars, even though the Strat Plus is already a huge differentiator. The greatest guitar that Fender ever made, and maybe ever shall make. I just love the Strat Pluses, the Deluxe Strat Plus, whatever. So here is the stuff, and I've never seen the trem setter documentation before, so that was nice to have. But there's the gold lace pickup, and the trem setter is in the baggie there, along with all of the saddles, the original Strat Plus type saddles. It's got the manual, the 2000 FLS series lace sensor, little manual there, and the key. The case is pretty beat up. You see at the bottom of the case there, they actually added some rails so it would stand up straight. These cases are prone to failure and cracks. It's not cracked. It doesn't have huge holes in it or anything, but it has served its purpose. So there we have another Strat Plus. Beautiful pearl dust. I want to thank everybody for stopping by, subscribing, and all that stuff. Certainly appreciate it. Take care of yourselves now.